if you're struggling with coming up with NPCs, you feel like they're all the same, or you feel like there's some gaps in your world, let's dive into NPC archetypes. Last month I did a video talking about how to create better NPCs, create more diverse and more interesting NPCs. And one thing that you can utilize to help add some variety to your NPCs is considering their archetypes. I'm going to be going over 17 different kinds of NPC archetypes, a little brief like what they are, and perhaps how you can use them within your campaign. I find that looking at kind of the archetypes of both my characters and my NPCs helps to balance things out. It helps me see like any kind of gaps I have within my NPC list. And yeah, I think it's a good opportunity of looking at it. Kind of similar, I talked briefly about like kind quest types. This is a similar type of thing. If you feel like your NPCs are starting to get kind of the same, perhaps look at the archetype categories, see where you have the majority, where you might have some gaps, and then fill in those gaps or add some more of the lesser quantity of archetypes to your campaign. The first archetype is the thug. This is a kind of muscly, perhaps not a whole lot of special training. Think like city guard, a pirate, a bouncer. They're the muscle, they're the thug. I think having an inventor or tinkerer is another really great archetype type. The mad scientist, the shopkeeper that creates their own wares. They are these builders that are clever and quirky. They can provide a lot of opportunities for quests or items. I'm going to call this next one the bladesmith, but it really is kind of the master of whatever martial art style that they have. So this is somebody who is incredibly skilled in this fighting style. They are a really great opportunity for a mentor for your player characters, or perhaps a rival. Also have the Lawkeeper. So think, city guard can fall into this, but it could be a magistrate, a judge, the sheriff, somebody who's there to uphold the law. Great opportunity to have kind of an NPC that perhaps is on the party side if they tend to fall more into the lawful category. And hey, if they are not, they can kind of be a rival, or perhaps the party is lawful but agrees by a different set of laws, and so they can have a rival in this. The sage and wise old one is a really great opportunity for, again, another mentor, great NPC to provide a lot of knowledge and insight. They are a scholar, they are a knowledge keeper, they are a storyteller perhaps. I like to kind of always have one of these available to either mentor a character and or to provide a lot of that like way for me to get some exposition to my characters that's not just me the game master, but can be coming from a character. Every major city or small hamlet is going to have some kind of caregiver, whether they are a doctor, a nurse, or just the person in town that likes to take care of everybody. I think having somebody who has this nurturing, caring sense is great, provides some great healing opportunities, but also can perhaps also fall into that mentor role, or just a NPC that the characters can go to for a little bit of comfort. The explorer. This is a curious, perhaps academic type that loves to travel or find and discover new things. Again, a great NPC for providing some information about specific areas like, yes, I once traveled into the great forest and I can tell you all sorts about it. Or perhaps they can be a guide for your players as they are heading into a new location. The rebel, somebody who is opposing the lawmakers. Again, this can be a rebellious teenager, or perhaps a much more organized actual leader of an opposition. But they are going to provide a lot of these great story moments, especially if you also have a lawkeeper character NPC, and can help provide perhaps quests to the party to help join the rebellion, or maybe the party needs to go take care of the things that this troublesome teenager has gotten into. Maybe rescue them from the dangerous things that they've decided to get themselves into. The artist. Now, this can be, physical artwork, a painter, a sculptor, a fiber artist. It could also be a bard or a storyteller, but somebody who is creating art for a living. Oftentimes, artists can move between all of these different parts of society or different classes within a society. So they could be great information about like the high class, the courtiers and stuff like that, because they have one of the courtiers is a patron of the artist, or could be a great opportunity to make those connections for you. A big thanks to all of our patrons, especially Alicia. The best way to support us is first by subscribing, and then head on over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative and check out the perks of being a patron. Okay, let's get back to the NPCs. The Deceptor. This is somebody who deceives for a living. They could be a spy. They could be a self-serving double agent. But there is a main part of either their living or their core personality that is deceiving others. Great thing to incorporate if you're having a more like political intrigue type campaign, but also even for more traditional fantasy campaigns. Knowing a spy or having a spy within your kind of arsenal of NPCs can provide a lot of opportunities for a lot of different kinds of quests. The comic relief or jester. Like, this is an NPC that is there to make things light. They are funny. They make light of heavy things, but they can also provide perhaps a little bit of insight by looking at the situation from a different perspective than somebody who's only looking at the world from a serious standpoint. While these might tie in less to like quests and stuff like that, I think having a few of these comic relief, like lighter NPCs are really nice for those moments where you want to lighten things up in your campaign. You want to take a break and, perhaps they go see this jester perform, or perhaps it's just the bartender that likes to make jokes and likes to cheer everyone up. The Wallflower Warrior. This is just a warrior who just shows up and does their job. Wallflower can kind of apply to whatever, like, job description you want, but just perhaps not a very outgoing, not a very talkative NPC, but they show up, they do the thing, and then they leave. The curmudgeon! Like, every town is going to have that cranky old man, and perhaps they're a cranky old mentor. Perhaps they're somebody that the characters need to get some information out of. Maybe that curmudgeon needs their help and reluctantly is asking for it. But this provides a different kind of personality that you can draw from. The minstrel, or perhaps a journalist, somebody who is spreading news, whether it's through song or through written thing, like the great opportunity to drop a whole lot of world building or lore or updates for the characters. They can be great sources of information and potentially also perhaps a bit of a rival if this minstrel is going around and telling lies about them. The idealist or altruist is somebody who sees everything through a personal cause. They perhaps are approaching the world in this skewed worldview and great for those like lawful good characters to interact with. These could be somebody who is religious in some way, but it also can be a non-religious NPC. The meek and naive. So this is an NPC that is timid. They are scared. They might need help being rescued, or perhaps they're a bit misguided. These can be great NPCs for rescue missions. And, not everybody's going to be super outgoing. And then finally, the everyman. Like, a lot of your NPCs, a lot of your townfolk are probably just going to be your everyman. There might not be anything particularly unique about them. They're probably going to be pretty relatable to the players and are just kind of your normal everyday person. You can combine these NPC archetypes to have even more options. So you can have a caregiver inventor or a curmudgeon explorer, and utilize these archetypes to kind of either as a starting point to create your characters from there, or as a good way to kind of audit your existing NPC list and see maybe where you have too many of one kind and you need to add a few more of another. So, did I miss any archetypes that you like to use? Or are there any on this list that you find particularly great for your table? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, if you're watching this video, please make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, because we make videos every week all about tabletop RPGs and our other geeky interests. All right, I'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative. Bye! My neighbor's dog just barks all day and it drives me nuts. Why? There's nothing to bark at. You're just barking at a fence.